Team Realty Investment Solutions, and I'm here to answer this big question that I see floating around: is should I use a realtor when buying new construction, or shouldn't I? And I'm going to give you the simple answer: is yes. And I'm going to tell you why. There's a simple misconception. Uh, that when you're buying new construction, that you don't need to use your own realtor because new home builders seldom negotiate on purchase price. And while that's mostly true, there are about 10 reasons that I put together that it tells you why you need to enlist a realtor working for you on your behalf. You got to know the ins and outs of the new construction world. It's very, very important to do that. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a big disservice. And I hate seeing anybody go out there and try and do one of the largest transactions of their life by themselves without any help. It just doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, we're not going to go and try and operate on ourselves just to save a few bucks. We're not going to go and try and defend ourselves in the court of law just to save a few bucks. And why would you want to buy real estate, 30 years of debt, because you think you're going to save a few bucks? And then that's the real big misconception. Could you do all those things? Sure. Should you? Probably not. But here I'm going to give you 10 reasons. The first and foremost is that when you use a realtor as a buyer, it's free to you. That's pretty much a no-brainer. That's the way our real estate system works. Seller pays for both the buyer and the selling realtor. When you buy, you get the free ride. So you pay as a seller, you get the free ride as a buyer. So why not utilize that? Have the professional that's working for you in your best interest. That's number one. And to me, I don't know why you need much more, but I'm going to give you 9 more to look out for you in your best interest. Before walking into the model home and speaking with the on-site agent, understanding that they're there to represent the builder. They're not there to represent you. They're not looking out for you or your best interest. They're looking out for the builder and their best interest. Although they're very nice, some even very good looking, men and women, but they're not there for you. They're there for the builder. Not to say that they're not, they're going there to register you on your first visit and, see how they can help you. But they're trained professionals. They know what they have going on there. And so you want some help with that. You don't want to just go in there by yourself aimlessly and then, get into something that you didn't know that there was something better. If you don't have, your own realtor at that point, I really wouldn't go in there yet. I would find your realtor first, and if you do go in there, because you do have a realtor, if you do go in to talk to them by yourself, make sure they know that you have a realtor working for you on your side. Otherwise, you can get into kind of a problem with not registering your realtor. Because these things happen. Sunday we're coming home from church. What do? We stop right in, check out the new construction. Next thing you know, they're telling you can't use your realtor. Baloney. Yes, you can. That's number 2. Number 3, clear expectations. When you walk into the model home, you're going to see the best of the best of the best. They're going to load that thing up. It's going to be gorgeous. You're going to walk in. It's going to have every extra that they could possibly put into that home. And then they're going to show you the base prices. Believe me, that's not going to be the base price, and that's not what you're going to get. So you want to be clear. You want to be clear on your expectations to make sure that you know exactly what you're going to get. Tons of the builders, all the builders, they have professional stagers, and they do extras to the property that may not even be available. Decorations on the wall, little DIY projects, some framing aspects. Some of that's not even available. You're going to get plain white walls, or whatever color walls. So you want to have clear expectations of what you're going to get versus what you're seeing in the model. The fourth thing is negotiation and incentives, and this is where I could, have a lot of experience. I researched builders for at least 6 months individually, went to see them, understanding the building process, tons of hours of classes, horror stories, hearing, you name it, I've seen it. You can negotiate with builders, but it's not on the price. And that's where everybody goes wrong. They want to negotiate the price because that's how you usually do it with resale residential. But that's not how that happens with the new construction. How it works with new construction is we want incentives. We want extra money from the builder to put nicer things in, some upgrades, maybe financing incentives. There's all kinds of incentives. I literally have an email box full from every builder about what incentives they're running. Sometimes it's inventory homes that they have that they need to get off their books and they're running some incentives on. Sometimes it's pricing, sometimes it's financing, sometimes it's just a bunch of extras they threw in there that they're willing to give you for free. So I know that every day I get these mailbox full of what's going on with each of the different builders. So you want to use your realtor for that. A realtor who's really tied into the builders gets all this information. So you need to utilize them for that. Next thing is research with your lenders. A lot of the builders, they have their own lenders, they have their own title companies, and they're going to give you a lot of incentives to utilize their people. Now, it may be smart for you to take them up on their incentives, and it may be smart for you to talk with a mortgage person, your local lender, and see what they can do. I've seen several things happen before. I've seen where a lot of times the local lenders cannot compete with the builder lenders. So, but they're giving you a little bit of a higher interest rate. And so maybe you take the builder up on their incentives, and then, you talk with your lender, and after that transaction is done and over with, 6 months, a year down the road, you refinance and get that better rate that you deserve. There are tons of ideas and really ways you need to look at doing a real estate transaction, and it's not always a one-stop shop. You need to have a team. You got to have your lender, you got to have your realtor. I know I have a whole team working with me, with home inspectors, surveyors, appraisers. It's important to have that team at my disposal. So that's number 5 was the research your lenders. Number 6 is get everything in writing. Get everything in writing. Whatever it is, make sure it's all very clear. If you're promised something, no matter how big or how small, make sure that it's on the builder contract, which is very, very different. We'll go over that here in a minute. But once you found the right floor plan, the beautiful lot, negotiated terms and conditions, and we make sure that we get all that they're promising us into the contract in writing. And that's what I make sure every time, is that we have everything there that we spoke about. It's very, very important to do, especially when we talk about certain finishes, timelines, fixtures, etc. So an experienced realtor will know how to communicate all that information and your concerns, and talk about what your concerns are during this process, because it's going to be a little bit different of a process. The build time is usually anywhere from 6 to 9 months, depending on if it's a custom home or what we call spec home. The 7th thing is builders don't use the standard purchase contract. They have their attorneys make their own contract. So their contracts are very, very long. I mean, I know here in the state of Florida, the standard as-is contract, it's 13 pages. And then we add some addendums and stuff like that. We keep it fairly simple. The builder's contracts, I've seen anywhere from 80 to about 150 pages. So there's a whole lot more legal mumbo jumbo in there, which basically is all written in the builder's favor, and you can't change anything. So don't go in there with the idea that, well, I can make them change their contract, because you're going to get a real big quick no. The timelines are the timelines for the build, but make no mistake, if something like a hurricane, or they can't get product in because of some trade issues, you know, like granite or, you know, cabinets or whatever, something holds them up, they're not going to be held responsible for that. So you kind of have to, you know, be prepared for the fact that it's not going to be like buying a resale home. This is very much not like buying a resale home. It's its own animal. So please keep that in mind. You know, timelines, although most of the time they're right on time, there has been situations where the builder is a month late, 2 months late, just because they couldn't get workers, they couldn't get the product in to do the job. And, you know, we kind of really don't want to rush them because we don't want them to do a bad job. Which gets me to my next point is home inspections. I am a huge fan of home inspections. And yeah, every now and then I have people sit there and want to push back a little and say, well, you know, why do you want to spend $500 and why do you want me to spend all that money? Because I'm trying to protect the largest investment that you'll ever make. And if it costs an extra $500 or $1,000 or whatever, to make sure that what you're buying is absolutely what you expect and is absolutely the way it should be, then yes, that money is well worth spending. You're spending a couple $100,000. I mean, I know people are spending anywhere from $2 to $1 million, $200,000 to $1 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Is $1,000 or $500 or $1,500? Because on new construction, I like the 4-phase inspections. And I'll go over that in a second. But and they cost about $1,400, $1,500, and they go through all the very important stages of new construction where they need to be checked. And even though that the builder has their checks and then the city has their checks, I know down here in Florida we have a lot of new construction going on right now, and everybody's really being inundated. The city and local inspectors, you know, that do these things and work for the city and work for the builders, they're on timelines and they're getting pushed too fast. So what I like to do is make sure my third-party inspector comes through, who's you know, have the engineering backgrounds, they understand what's needed with the building codes, and want to make sure that everything is perfect, just as you expect it when the day you move in. They're going to go over the pre-slab, which is you know, before they lay that slab down, make sure all your piping's laid. The post-slab, which is you know, after the slab's poured, make sure all the piping is good. And they're also going to go in before the drywall, which is the last point, check behind the walls before the drywall goes up, and then your final inspection, you know, right before you go to that closing table, make sure everything's perfect for you. Inspections are worth it wholeheartedly. There's no one that can convince me anything different. I've had plenty of people very happy that we got inspections because we were able to get things fixed very quickly. Number 9 is not all inventory is listed online. A lot of times homes sell pretty quick and they don't put everything online, and there's something that fell out that was purchased and then that buyer couldn't buy it. It comes back alive. They'll email realtors, but they don't put it on the MLS. So if you're searching on your own and going thinking you could do a better job searching than someone who has the MLS access, and you know, we're licensed, we know how to access all this information, we have certain abilities that normal people can't do on their own easily. Okay, and it's a lot easier for us, and for me it's more like I just pick up the phone and make a call and I can find anything I need out. So you know, having your realtor for that is, I think, key as well. You know, this is something that you can't do easily, but a realtor who brings multiple people into the builders, we build that relationship with them. We have that symbiotic relationship. I bring you my clients, you take good care of my clients. I know I'm there through the whole process. But you need that. You need that realtor buffer to help you know, you with your frustrations, if you're having any, and finding things if you don't see what you need. Sometimes we can find that needle in a haystack that you're unable to. Yeah, we earlier talked about registering yourself. Make sure you're registered with your realtor. When you go to first visit the new development site, I always suggest my clients, like, hey, if you want to go, let's go together. I always like to be there with them. I don't like to leave them alone in the shark infested waters. The new construction people, I make them sound horrible. They're not. They're really pretty good. I've met a lot of really good guys, but at the same point in fact, they're there to sell a home, and they're to sell the home in that neighborhood when it could be a better neighborhood that suits you. So it may cost you nothing. It may cost you or save you thousands of dollars to have a realtor. I mean, many new home buyers think that they can get a better deal from a builder if they don't have representation, because the builder won't have to pay a commission to a realtor. I'm going to tell you the fact about that right now, okay? And I'll challenge anybody, because I know this for fact. The builders have already worked in paying us into their marketing budget, okay? They don't put it on the back end of what it's going to cost. So they're already planning on paying us. We bring them 60 to 70% of the people that are buying the homes in their communities. Okay, so that factor is already built in. When they don't use us, all they do is save that bottom line money. That's all they're doing. You're just putting more money in their pocket. You're not protecting yourself. You're not getting a better deal. You're not saving yourself. So it's important to really know that. So you think you can say you're saving yourself? Oh well, we'll give you $3,000 or $4,000 because you're not using a realtor. Guess what? We would have got that 3 or 4 grand anyway. I'm here to tell you, I do it all the time. So not having a realtor does more damage to you than any type of help. So, especially when you're not familiar with all the inspections, you're not familiar with the building process, you're not familiar with that builder, you know, these are the things that are very important. I know this video is very long and most people may not see it. Those who do see it obviously are going to buy a new construction home and really want to know the truth. This is all the truth. I'm going to attach my report to this video so you can view it on there for yourself. If you have any questions, I'm always available. You can email me, call, or text, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. So my name's Big George Kokoris with Team Realty and Investment Solutions. If there's anything in the world that I can do for you, just let me know. I'm here. You guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.